Hello, beautiful people of the internet. I'm Jamie. Let's hang out, watch Freerun, Season 2, Episode 7. Hey everybody, I'm so glad you are back watching with me today. What are we in store for? Last episode was pretty dark. We met up with enau and ethode, and now we're trying to track down a very powerful demon, which I thought it was multiple demon, but I guess enau had taken care of most of them, or at least the two of them had. And now we'll have to see what this leads to. I don't know. I am nervous. The last episode was kind of like, it had creepy factors in how it was filmed and the music. It was like, I got shivers. It was creepy. It's rather interesting that the demon has 4 arms, is what we had discovered. And we did get to see what it looked like at the very beginning, well, not very beginning, but near the beginning, and then at the very end. And it looks intimidating, so I will admit that. I mean, I was intimidated by like a demon in like the second episode, I think, so. Also in the last episode, we did get to see a little bit more, I think, of enau than he wanted to let on. I think he did care a lot more than he was trying to put off to show, display. I don't know if ethode picked up on that or not, but I think he definitely is feeling some very strong things. And I'm also wondering how that's going to manifest potentially in this episode. Last thing I also had written, actually, it was on the episode before that, so what, 5, where we had learned about bow shaft and things like that, because I had just put up the reaction like a few days ago. And it was just getting me to think, like, I think it's okay to have that disappointment. In their telling of it, essentially it was like, well, yeah, that sucks, but we gotta laugh it off, because what else are we gonna do? Let's share with friends and enjoy our time together, which I think is great. But a lot of the time we tend to have very strong emotional reactions when we have certain expectations and then they're not met, especially if it was told to you by someone else. I feel like it would make sense, like if there was a promise from someone else, I feel like it would make sense to have grief or disappointment, maybe even anger. You know, I think those all make sense. And it's not to say that those things are bad, right? I think I've talked about this before, but essentially emotions aren't inherently good or bad. They're pleasant or unpleasant, sure, but they're just indicators of information. And this is the metaphor I use a lot, but like, we wouldn't tell a baby it's bad for crying, for being upset, because it's just reacting to the world around it. And that's what we're doing in everyday life. So I feel like if somebody were to have a certain reaction that would be seen as like unpleasant after such an ordeal of, you know, their expectations not being met, putting their hopes and dreams into trying to do something, and then it just turns out to be not what they had hoped for or what they expected. Like, yeah, I think that's more than okay if they have those emotions. However, where I will say, like, yes, it's great that they had that perspective afterward of like, we can laugh it off and things like that. I think you're allowed to have your emotions, take time to process and validate them, but then that's where we can take that extra step. Now, if you can bypass all that, great. If you can go right into the, hey, it is what it is, let me just move on to the next thing and enjoy my time, that's great. You are better than I am. But I think what a more realistic outcome may be for most people is to have the emotions and, again, experience them, process them, validate them. But then that's where you have to be like, okay, I got to process and feel what I needed to feel, because that's healthy. Because if you hold things in, that's unhealthy. Now what? Now let's take that perspective of, okay, what's the next thing? Can I also just take a break and enjoy my time? It's always good to reframe and learn and adapt to things and follow your values. So that is what I will purport forward to you to keep in mind. It's a little bit of a rant, but I had thought of it afterwards, and I just wanted to put that in here and cover my bases. So I know that was about 2 episodes ago, but I thought it was notable to bring up. And I will also note that, yes, I do recognize that Fast did say that he had been disappointed, so there is that too. But after that rant, I think it's time to get our housekeeping done so we can just hop right on into this episode because I feel like it's going to be a tense one. So this video is for commentary and discussion purposes. All rights belong to the original creators, so please support the official release. And if you would like to watch this in its full-length, uncut form, then that is going to be up here on Patreon, link down below. And I think that's generally it. I sometimes stream. But yeah, I think that covers it. So it is time, so grab your snacks, get settled in, and let's watch Frieren Season 2, Episode 7. It hasn't even been that long since I've watched this, but it feels like it has been. So far recognizing all of that, yeah. Okay, so we have to meet the headband person at some point. Whether that's in this episode or not, I don't know. The Divine Revolt, episode 35. Oh, we know this place. Exams. Oh, hello. Partner. Oh, okay. I was very confused. No, condolences. It's fair. Very straight-laced, I guess. Interesting. Wonder why Ziria wanted them to shake hands. I think it's a good idea. Ethode, that is a very complicated question, sir. I did figure he thought of himself kind of negatively. Well, I don't know if he thinks of himself negatively, but it sounds like it. That's fun. So you were good at balancing each other, potentially. We need all sorts of people, right? Is that foolish to you? Interesting. Are we gonna see something to counter that? She tends to see things that we can't, so... 3度の飯より戦いが好きなやつだ。確かに不思議だな。なんでユーベルではなくお前なんだろうな。Well, Ubel... それにせよ、戦いが好きなやつなんてろくな人間じゃない。I see. お前は私のようにはなるな。I don't know if Ubel would choose to work in a group, but who knows? I mean, she can. We know that. 村を襲った魔族の主力は4体。Okay, 4 primary. どれも村から姿を消しています。Okay, so yeah, he didn't get them all. The spooky music. 1体は魔族の将軍。4本の剣で騎士団を仕留めています。将軍って何なんだ？熟練の魔族の戦士のことだよ。Makes sense. 魔力で身体能力を強化して武術を操る。Physical, okay. 武道者のように何百年もかけて武を極める連中も。Wow, okay. 将軍にはアイゼンよりずっと強い将軍もいたよ。I was gonna say that must be the one. 人の姿とはかけ離れている可能性が高い。Interesting. 剣4本持った剣術の達人と戦ったことある？あるわけねえだろ。私もないよ。それが騎士団が負けた原因だろうね。That is fair, yeah. If you're unaccustomed. レボルテ様。Revolt. 獲物が網にかかりましたよ。魔力の高いごちそうです。It is a cool look. 使い4人に戦士1人、うち3人は1級です。Not a trap? 仕掛けますか？いや、嫌な予感がする。Smart. するまで待とう。分散しますかね、レボルテ様。相手、相当警戒していますよ。分散するさ。How do you know?
そのために大勢殺して喧嘩を売ったんだ。北部高原で多くの村落を滅ぼすうちに気がついたことがある。
They can experience other emotions, it seems. So it's implying that they killed all these people to bring powerful people here? Or they sensed these, like all of them in the area and decided to make this happen as a trap?
ノルム騎士団が死体を引き取るまで誰か村に残った方がいい。
Oh no, the splitting up is already happening.
私が残ろ
う。I'm surprised he's the one choosing to.
死体を守るために村に残る習性がある。
興味深いです。なぜなんですか？
理由なんか必要ない。
Just it's a fact that it happens. Yeah, fair.
だろう。すごく気になります。
人間に関心があるの。
I feel like it's still advantageous to know your
時々
prey.
理屈が通らない不可解な行動
It's true.
がなぜなのか知りたいのです。
I enjoy your perspective.
人類について研究している変わり者の魔族がいると聞いたことがある。
そうなんですか？その方についてもっと教えてください。
お
You
前
gonna
が役
kill?
に立てば教えてやる。
Okay, I was worried for a second.
う。ノルム騎士団が死体を引き取りに来たら、
Unless
私も
he
合流
knows
する。
that the general is going to attack here first and he just wants to be able to unleash his powers. Oh,
俺も村に残るよ。
good. I'm glad.
バカかお前は。これから魔族と戦いに行くんだぞ。
Yeah, but they're
前衛
powerful.
がいなくてどうする？
I guess that's true.
私は前衛がいなくてもそれなりに戦
I mean,
え
there's
る。
3 of them. 2 of you. I think that's fair.
限度があるけどね。
それでもやばくなったらうまく。
Hmm.
あんたはこの村を捨てて逃げられない。
Smart of Stark. Very
シュタル
strategic
ク、
in his thinking.
ここにあるのは死体だ。
Stop trying to
それ
push
を
people
守るために
away.
あんたはここに残るんだろ。
Exactly.
好きにしろ。
Maybe he just doesn't want other people to get hurt. I don't know. He doesn't want good people to get hurt. He's hard to read until I get further episodes in.
シュタルク、お前はいいやつだな。
Hmm.
俺はお前のようなやつを知っている。きっと長生きできない。
But sometimes they live the longest too.
にはあんたがいいやつに見えるよ。
It's all perspective.
こんなになっちまった村をまだ守ろうとしている。俺にはできなかったことだ。
I mean, you were young. Whole different story.
北側諸国の平穏のために何だってやってきた。そのために人だって殺してきたし、大勢見捨てて。
Hmm.
人の死というものにはなれる。
Do you? I guess some people might. I don't know.
故郷が滅びたのに何も感じない。
Are you sure you're not just intellectualizing?
散々見捨ててきたのに。
I don't think there's
私は
any
今
right
更
or wrong
何
to
をやってい
this.
るんだ。
If he does or if he doesn't. He's still choosing to do it.
村は長距離探知はなるべく使わないようにね。相手が手だれだと逆探知される。
Mm-hmm.
お話でもしながら歩こう。
そんなんでいいんですか？
緊張と緩和が大事。
Is she wary right now?
だらしない顔。
Or is that a careless look? Okay.
それにコミュニケーションはチームワークを高めるんだよ。
That's what I
知ら
say.
なかったでしょ。
But you don't always communicate.
たらフリーレンさん、なでなでしてもいいですか？
真顔で何を言っているんですか、この人。
Yeah?
頭を撫でるのが好きなのですが、ゼイリエ様はあまり撫でさせてくれ、
Oh, but she has let you.
しかもすごく嫌そうな顔をするんです。
That's so funny.
そうでよりもずっとお姉さんなんだから。なでなでなんて許さないよ。
そうです。フリーレン様はお姉さ
A mature lady.
ここ
Oh.
に卵を割った時に殻が入らなくなる魔法。
Oh my god. She
好きなだ
knows.
け撫で
Yeah.
ていいよ。
Exactly. The right buttons to push. That's so funny.
こん
I
な
get
に
it.
たくさんなでなでさせてもらえるなんて。
Do you have like a
なで
weird
なでは
fetish?
1日10分までだ。
Then per day though. Oh my. Poor Fern.
あのフリーレンさん、
Oh my god.
少しだけギューってしてもいいですか？ゼイリエ様はさせてくれなかったので。
What was your childhood like?
もう好きにしていいよ。
好きにしていいんですか？
She was weird about it in the second exam, so yeah, that makes sense, I guess.
やめてよ。
Do you really want her butt in your
ち
face?
ぎれちゃう。
Oh. Them sensing them in that position would be really funny to me. Or is.
こっちが熟練の魔法使いだって分かっているだろうに、臆す
Yeah.
る様子がない。
Because they're arrogant.
気づかれたな。
Mm.
メベラドーラ。
It's a good staff, I guess. What is this? Sleepy? Ooh, cool. I'm glad Metoda could handle herself. But now they're split up even more, and there's two of them. Demons.
ネトーデと分断されたか。
So two are here, so does that mean two have gone back to the village? Or the town? It's interesting because it seems like, yeah, why do demons do what they do? Because it's like episode 5. It's like, are you doing something out of boredom because you live so long?
40年前まで、空は魔族の
That is true.
でも、魔族は一つの魔法しか研究しない。
Mm,
くことに特別な技術はいると思う。それと同じなんだ。
I see. Okay.
僕にとって飛行魔法は、
That's just something they do with ease. Like
打線
breathing.
ではこういうのはよくある光景。
Interesting.
まるで魔王軍の連中の戦い方だ。
Ooh. I believe in you, Metoda.
フェルン、戦闘は任せるから。
Okay.
これは一級魔法使いに与えられた任務だ。
Mm,
一級魔法使いはフェルンでしょ。
interesting.
何も問題はないよ。勝てる相手だ。
Oi. What about the communication? I guess she did by pointing.
ほらね。
Fern's stern face.
レン様が指をさしたから反応できただけで。
So she can't
攻
sense,
撃は
I
全
guess.
く単純。
Yeah.
相手は格上です。
Come on, believe in
私は
yourself.
そうは思わない。
You have just different skills.
に忠実な一級魔法使いもそうはいないからね。
We've learned that.
大丈夫。フェルンなら勝てるよ。
And if Freeman believes, then we gotta believe. Oh yeah, because she could sense with Ziria, right? Very Inuyasha. Feeling the air.
魚釣ってきたぜ。夜食にどうだ？
Now I'm really worried because I don't know if Stark's gonna be able to sense things. Alright, so we got what, pink hair maybe, or just the one
勘は小
demon?
腹が減るんだよ
General.
な。お、フェルンには言わないでね。
お前も苦労しているようだな。
What do you mean by two? Implying that he is as well then.
村を襲った魔族に心当たりがあるんだろ。
Mm,
本当流の魔族なんてそういるものじゃない。
makes sense.
真偽のレボルテ、
Mm,
私の相棒を殺した魔族。
なんだか仰々しい名前だな。
it is.
それは奴が魔法で作り上げた4本の剣に由来する。
Yeah, it was kind of handy. He
奴
could
の
just
剣
make them
は
appear.
重さを自在に変えられるんだ。
Oh,
時には羽より軽く、鋭く。時には巨岩のように重い。
wow.
神話の時代に山を砕いた剣になぞらえて、
Is it every time he
とんでもなく重いってことか。
like makes them appear, apparate?
魔法はこの世ならざる物質を
Mm,
魔法で作られた武器というのは殺意の塊だ。
I can see that.
こういう武器を作る魔族は大勢殺す。まるで試し斬りでもするように。
Mm. Uh-oh.
シュタルク、
Or can he just change the sword's weight on a whim? Or is it, as I said, just every time he makes them appear?
来るぞ。
Scary to know it's happening or coming towards you. Cool. Alright, frontliner. I know that it's a very strong demon, though. Nothing.
四
Damn.
刀流。
戦士一人に一級魔法使い一人。
Mm-hmm.
特にそこの一級魔法使いはどこかで見た顔だ。
Who are you saying that to?
奴の斬撃をまともに受けるなよ。正面から受ければ最悪消しと。
See, I think in cases of dealing with demons, it's good to be more detached, too.
だがお前たちが話し合いを望まないというのであれか。
I mean, I thought you didn't care to get to know things or people.
面から受けるなってどうすりゃいいんだ。
戦士なら受け流すくらいできるだろ
What, like parry?
けどそれじゃ
Would that not be taking the attacks head on?
ケナンを守れない。
う。守る必要なんてないさ。こう見えて接近戦は得意なんだ。
Okay, I want to see this because, yeah, you're not moving. Ooh, okay, so he can change it, it seems. At will. Wow. Very
とな
light.
らざる物質を作り出すのは
Hmm.
ディガドナハト。
Wow.
面白い。
Hmm. I agree. Very cool. So as predicted, it was a tense episode. I always really enjoy when we do get to see the team fight against especially very powerful demons because of the intricate elements that could be at play. It kind of reminds me of the exams where we just get to see them having to be creative and be defensive and offensive and different ways and work as a team if they are able to. So I am very excited to see the next episode and how the battles develop. Genau is always surprising me every episode. This is weird for me to say, but like I'm also hesitant to say just because again I haven't seen the future episodes, of course. So I don't know how things develop, but regarding Genau, I think it's fine if he doesn't feel strongly about the village or having grief or maybe many emotions. I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel bad for him if that is the case too, though, because being able to have emotions while being a detriment sometimes, depending on our perspective, is also very important for feeling life and potentially getting to experience more out of life. It's hard to explain. However, and that's me just from like a human perspective, I can see in his line of work why it would be more advantageous for him to not feel emotions strongly. Maybe that's just how he's wired, which is fine. I'm wondering if it's born more out of like trauma and sadness. But the reason I said hesitant is because like I don't know what to classify him as, because he said I don't feel anything, like I don't feel sad about this. And I'm inclined to take him at his word, but I also know that there's been so many instances in media where people will say that, and then of course really they're actually feeling such depth to their emotions, so it's hard to know exactly where it's going to land. But I am leaning more towards that is actually the truth. And I definitely experience emotions. Y'all have seen that on the channel. However, there's also been different times in my life where I haven't experienced grief, where, you know, I felt I should, but it also kind of made sense, I guess, that I didn't. And I don't know if anyone else has experience with that, but that's also why I can understand where he's coming from. Especially because he's been away for so long. Maybe there is that detachment there, but it's hard to say. My emotions tend to pop in, not randomly, but like when it makes sense, but I never know to what extent those emotions may come forward, if it will be more limited or if it'll be more deep. So it's really hard to say. And maybe that's strange, I don't know, because a lot of people I interact with tend to be more emotional, so it's hard to know what's normal, but again, I don't think there is much normal in the world, so I'm not going to feel too strange about it. But I am curious about your own experiences with emotion. Some people tend to dampen their emotions, some people just try to experience all they can. That's just who they are. Some people are extra sensitive. Some people, as I said, are more numb. And there's a variety of reasons for all of that. So it is always interesting to hear other people's perspectives, personalities, that kind of stuff. On another psychological note, I am very curious about demons. Honestly, it's kind of like the pink-haired demon, but regarding, their interest in humans, I am very interested in demons, not necessarily to be merciful to them though at all, trust me there, especially knowing what we do know. But they kind of remind me of Hanji a little bit from Attack on Titan, just reverse, I guess, because I think it makes sense to be fascinated, but demons also tend to not be. They're more just, again, very goal-oriented, very, they have a lot of hubris, I guess, is what we could say. They definitely underestimate humans and mages in a lot of ways, but I feel like there's a lot of advantages to knowing your enemy, and whether that can allow you to have more empathy for them. Obviously, again, not in the case of the demons as far as I know, but I think it's never a bad thing to know more. So, I don't know, I kind of am curious and interested in the pink-haired demon, but it could also go nowhere, so I don't know. But it was interesting because they had talked about the two demons at that were flying. Like, oh, this person has more of a interesting aura, it could be fun. So again, they're looking for pleasure, it seems, and there's also a little bit of like sciencey brain going on. So it made me think of the elf from 2 episodes ago that looked like Zelda, that was like, yeah, I'm just bored, and so I'm just gonna do this thing. So what happens when demons get bored? What do they do to stimulate their brains? Do they also just do random things? It doesn't seem like it. So yeah, I'm just very curious about the nature of demons, how their brains work. But yeah, I think that covers most of my thoughts. I'm again very, I'm anticipating the next episode. I'm very excited to see how the battles go. I think Stark is gonna have an interesting time, but I believe in him to figure out the solution. And it seems like Enau, as I said, keeps surprising me. He has a very great understanding of magic, it sounds like. To be honest, he has a great understanding about a lot of stuff. I just don't know if he understands himself 100%, but again, we'll have to see. So if you enjoyed this reaction, then giving it a like just really helps support me and the channel, helps this video reach more people, which is always greatly appreciated. If you would like to, feel free to stick around and subscribe, see whatever else we have coming up on the channel. There might also be some things on Patreon that are of interest to you that are not on the channel, so feel free to check that out. The full-length uncut reactions are linked up on Patreon, which is linked down below. As a reminder, I do stream over on Twitch from time to time, hopefully also on YouTube by the time you see this, but who knows, and I'm really hoping so. And I think that's it. So thank you so much for being here and choosing to spend a little bit of your day with me. So wherever you are and whenever it is, I hope something good finds you today. So take care, and I'll see you around. Bye.